Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Success Series. Today's guest is a very special guest. We're actually here at Telemundo headquarters here in Miami, Florida. Aleyda Casanova. Aleyda is initially from Puerto Rico, was former Miss Universe, and now has her own TV show host here in Telemundo, all over the United States, as well as in Puerto Rico for the Spanish audience. It's an absolute honor to be here with her today. Aleyda, thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. If you could talk a little about your story and how you got to where you are today, and we'll go.
Sure. So I'm from an island in the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, and I come from teacher parents. Both of my parents are teachers, but I come from a very musical background. Everyone around me loved music. My dad is a composer, a classical musical composer. So I always felt like I needed to do something towards the arts entertainment, but I just didn't know how or when, or I was trying to figure out life, right? And Kabbalah came into my life when I was like around 23 or 24 years old. And that's when my life changed. I at that time, I had a career. I had just finished college. So I had a great job, actually. I was product manager for Puerto Rico and the Caribbean for a brand there. Life sounded good. But I felt I needed to do more. And I felt like I had talents like music. I like to sing. I like to dance, act. And I felt like there has to be a purpose for all this, and I'm not using that now in this stage of life, because since I was a little girl, I was always like performing, in front of even my parents, at school or anywhere that they let me. And so I felt that need, and that's when I started to be a student of Kabbalah. And that was 10 years ago from now. And that's when my life changed. I took a chance. Back then, I also had challenges, like physical challenges. I wasn't skinny. I wasn't like a model type, but I had the opportunity to compete in Miss Universe Puerto Rico. And for the Latino countries, that's a big deal.
Right.
And I remember growing up since the little girls, watching these beautiful women representing our country, and everyone was so proud. And there were people that you looked up to, right? Like there were people that they inspired you.
Right.
And so one day I was in this place and someone approached me and they told me I was actually working on that company and doing some things on a store. And this guy comes to me and he tells me, "Are you a model?" And I'm like, "No."
You're like, I'm a product manager.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm here working. And he goes, "Oh, you should be a model. You're so tall. You're beautiful." And I was like, it was interesting because I always had that kind of, I liked it. I watched the show since I was a little girl. And I was like, do you think? Like something came into my mind, like, oh, yeah, maybe.
Right.
Oh, thank you. Because it was flattering. It was like, oh, thank you for that. And so that started to create like I don't know how to explain it, but I was curious about. I was like, what if I have something here that I'm not seeing?
Right.
And so I started working on myself with the tools of Kabbalah. I became a student. I realized I was scared. I realized I was not getting out of my comfort zone. I wasn't putting the work either, because I had to go to the gym. I had to change my lifestyle. I had to do some things. And so I took a chance. I took a decision back there. It wasn't like terrible because I was still young, living under my parents' house. So I said, "Mom, Dad, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to quit my job,"
right,
which they were very proud of. And I want to follow this because I don't see I always get this thing in my life, like I don't see myself in this same position in 10 years, right? So that's when I did the exercise, I need to change this. And I have to cause it. I have to be, because I just don't feel it.
Right.
So let's see what happens. My parents got mad at me. Right. They were like, "Oh, both of my parents are teachers, like I said. And so for them, education was a big deal. So they thought like, all those years in college.
We're all away.
Yeah.
Doing something.
Yeah, and now you're going to do something else, and you don't know or that's gonna, you have to do a leave. And, they were worried about my future. And I was like, I don't know either, but I just want to try it. And it was funny because at the beginning it was like, hard. And my parents were like looking at me like, I don't know exactly what's
she's having a
she's having a tantrum or something. Yeah. And then I started competing. I did this in the inscription to the pageant, and then people started to support me, and that's when my family kind of changed. Like, oh, maybe
it's actually working. There's something there.
Maybe there's something. And even my mom says that to the day, like, she says, like, I was very courageous to do something like that. And actually, I didn't have a plan. I didn't know exactly where or when this is. I was just trying my best. So that happened. I didn't win. I didn't got to win the title of Miss Universe, but I got to represent Puerto Rico in another international pageant, and that was super fast. I remember that was in October, and then in December was in Germany representing Puerto Rico, and I also didn't win in Germany. Both pageants, I ended up being first runner-up, and with a few prizes, which they were a blessing because that was the way I could pay for all my things and responsibilities.
There was no other because you had nothing else coming in.
Nothing else. And I remember, like, oh my God, I need to win Best Smile. I need to be, because all those little things,
little prizes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. So in December, and all of this, I was with my teachers. I use the tools all the time, like even on the final question in Miss Puerto Rico, that my question became popular because they asked me, look at the question, I never forget. They asked me, what's the purpose of being in this competition? And that was something that I was actually ready to answer because I was working on it. And I said it in Spanish, so I have to translate.
You can say it in Spanish, and then we'll put on subtitles.
Okay, so and actually, Miss Universe asked me this question, what's the purpose? And I said, el propósito de esta competencia es compartir y dar amor y que esta plataforma es para utilizarla de la mejor manera. So basically what I just said is this platform is for sharing and to use it and be inspiration for others and this and that. And the whole theater came on. They clapping.
Never expected an answer like that.
Yeah, it was like and I have to say, I used the 72 names of God. I never forget. I was in backstage and I scanned the 72 names of God, but I used the right words. You speaking the right words. I think that's the name of of one of the 72 names of God. And anyways.
That's incredible. That it literally came just like that.
And I promise to you that I remember the answer because I saw the videos. I wasn't aware on stage of what I was saying.
Right.
But everyone liked it. I was like,
yeah, that's what we said. Those are the best. When you have no idea what you said and it comes out like a pure channel, it's the best.
Yeah.
From the creator.
I was like, honestly, it was great from the creator. It was beautiful. So anyway, that came popular and I didn't win. So people were kind of in shock because I wasn't the winner.
Right.
After that big question.
Like I got this whole performance.
And still I'm not the winner. So, but I remember when I was holding, because I ended up being first runner-up, holding the hands of the winner, I truly let go. I was like, I want my purpose. I just, if this is what my path, I'll take it. If it's not, I'll take it too. Like I was ready. I was really in that time very, very, very connected somehow. And so time passed. I decided I got the opportunity because of that, because of how people reacted to me, and because they liked me. They offered me to be in a show, a reality TV show back then, which 10 years ago was like kind of a new thing, because reality TV now is famous, but back then
nobody was doing it.
I was so scared of exposing myself, and I don't know, like it was very challenging. And I took the opportunity and I won. I won that reality show. And I became the winner on that edition. It changed my life. And thanks to that, I'm still working in this industry, because the price of that reality show was a contract, a 1-year contract with the network.
Really? That's how it works. So that's wow.
So that's what I wanted. I was like, okay, I see a path. My parents are gonna be proud. I see a career. Plus, I studied communication, so it's not far. It's incredible how everything works because I actually study journalism, public relations, which is what you need to be in here.
Right.
I just didn't know back then how I was going to end up here.
Right.
But doing the effort and following and breaking some things just put me on the right spot. And so 10 years from that, so Kabbalah has given me my life, my purpose in so many ways. I'm very grateful, and I feel a very blessed person and very lucky sometimes. And like the tools that Kabbalah brings into my life helps me. Also, I have a lot of challenges. I'm a human being. I'm here working with other humans, and some days I don't feel my best. Some days I have my, like I say, my it's on.
You just want to...
Yeah, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, you know, it's so those are the moments where I really, really apply the tools that are available for us, right? And like I told you, the 70 every time. Sometimes when I feel nervous, I do it on Abacoa before the show, or
totally
any time in my life. Actually.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack with what you said. It's a crazy journey, a lot of blessings in between. Let's go to specifically the reality TV show, because a lot of our listeners watch some form of it or hear of it.
Yeah.
How much of it is what the people think they see on TV, and then how much of it is part of the act and part of the show?
Well, in my experience, I have to say, for me, it was super real. Everything, like, it's not scripted like people think. Like, human beings are in these shows. Most of them they're going for a dream. They're going because they want to achieve something. So they put their hearts out there, right? But there's also production. Production can put the content in some ways. But at the end of the day, I think reality TV is one of those things, like, energy can be
made up.
Yeah.
I see. So even if certain lines are maybe tweaked or whatever, the overall premise of it is...
It's incredible. Like, my reality TV show was with votes from the audience.
Okay.
So the audience was also engaged at the show. So it's super incredible. Like, even though inside the show someone may have a problem with me, let's say, people judge it from the outside.
Right.
And that's when you get amazed. Like, they can connect with maybe they don't know exactly what's going on, but they know there's something going on. So they say they support this and that. So it's interesting, and in that sense, people have control in their houses on which one they want to support.
Sure.
And that's beautiful too.
Right.
And so yeah, in my experience, of course, productions, and now with social media, we know more and more how things work, about recording, how you can edit things. But at the end of the day, there's something that you can change, which is us.
Right.
And we are very complex people. You know, so it's very hard for another human being to mingle on that. You know, that's my opinion, and that's what I have experienced.
Yeah. And then going to your earlier childhood, you mentioned you're from Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. You made a decision your parents weren't necessarily on board with.
Yeah.
A lot of younger women, they struggle with kind of going with what they want to do and blocking out the noise. Yeah. How are you able to just say, you know what, even if my parents don't agree with me, even if nobody else sees it, I'm going to go all in? And
it was a hard time. And actually, sometimes I ask myself, how and why did I, and I think I had this sense in my heart, like, this can't be it. Just this, like, so I'm gonna, in my mind was like, okay, so I can sing, I can dance, and I'm not gonna do anything with that. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why God is sending me these gifts and I am not gonna be able to use them or develop them through time? So it was a God's feeling I had inside of me. Like, I wanted more, you know, like I also had ambition, and I always say this because at some point I was ashamed to say that I was an ambitious person, because I don't know, sometimes you feel bad about it.
Really? Why? If you felt like other people around you didn't have the same level, then
and people judge you. Like, for example, I remember even like in the closest circles, like my mom used to tell me, you have to be humble, Aleyda. You have to appreciate what you have, and those kind of things. I don't know if it is in the Latino culture, but it was like, don't ask for more. Like you are good.
Be like everybody else.
Yeah, like good. Like why? Like, and it's also this. You're scared.
Right.
That's the opponent is just scared. I was like, no, this is like the alternative. I won't accept it. Like, it's just like, why? Because I'm scared. And another thing that I had to work on, and this is something I want to share, because it's the physical aspect. And this sometimes for women, it's and girls, for example, I remember having a tough time liking myself. And I didn't thought I was beautiful. I didn't thought I was, a model girl, right? And I remember working a lot in myself, like my self-love, and putting also the work, because you can't expect to have a beautiful body and don't work it, right? And I remember crying, and that was for me one of those aspects, like it was very hurtful. And I remember putting on clothing, I didn't feel good. So when I start to noticing, like, it's on me, like if I feel bad,
right,
so I have to do something. So in that sense, also my parents saw that, and I think that was kind of a signal for them that I was doing my effort,
right,
and that effort has to be part of your journey, and it's an everyday thing. It's still.
I was going to ask you, does it still come up today?
Yeah. It's still a challenge.
Because you're always on TV, right? People are always looking at you. They're always judging your appearance. How do you get over that?
All the time.
Yeah.
You know what? It's interesting because it has been 10 years. And these 10 years I have gained weight, I have lost weight, and it has been like this. And it has been hurtful sometimes, but I'm now in the stage of life. I don't know if it's age or what. But I don't like... I just want to be healthy.
Yeah.
I want to feel good with myself. I like to be skinny. Like, I like to put on my clothing and feel like it fits good. I'm comfortable, and I don't feel, that's me. And because I like that feeling, I have to do the work. But still, I don't want to go to the gym every morning. I don't want to eat good. I come from Puerto Rico. There's a lot
of good food that's very good for you.
Yeah, like a lot of frituras, fried things, right. And like that's not very healthy. And I still have that challenge. Right. It's an every day, and it comes in different ways and different forms, but still it's still there. And but it's part of my...
And you still get through it, right? You don't. Yeah. It's not like you're like, I'm not going to record today.
Oh no! Okay. Imagine.
Yeah, imagine what if I don't like this camera today. We're done.
Yeah, we're done. I'm not gonna go on air today. My boss is gonna be like,
"Then don't come tomorrow."
Don't come never. Like, so it's interesting because I have to work with the one thing that makes me very insecure, but it has been. I think there's better days and worse days, but it has been a good journey overall. Yeah.
That's very cool. Okay, so that aside, we always look at people's career life. What other areas of your life? You mentioned Kabbalah, you mentioned your work. What other areas do you feel complement your experience of life and something that you're proud of that you are consistent with?
Well, my marriage, I have always, since I was a little girl, I knew I wanted to have a family and build a family. And that was actually something during my career, because sometimes you focus so much on your career goals and the next level in your career. But there was a time during these 10 years that I was like, I have other dreams too. And I realized like, okay, this is my life. Because sometimes I started so young, and I felt that when by winning the reality show, I was so grateful. So I kind of felt that I needed to work more and harder to give back to the people that gave me that opportunity, so sometimes you lose yourself and you lose the focus that this is your life.
Right.
I had a point in my career where I felt that I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. It happened, the same thing that happened when I was deciding to compete on the pageants and etc. So I felt, and I never forget, I was with my husband, New Year's, and I was like, I don't like the show that I'm doing. It was an early morning show. I did for 4 years, but I felt that I was going to get stuck there for the rest of my life. You know, I felt like something like, okay, yeah.
Gotta get out of here and do something.
Yeah, I felt like beautiful. I have learned a lot. Because I saw that I wrote as a performer. I was better because of that show. I was super grateful, but I also saw that if I stayed there, I was going to stay there.
Right.
So I didn't want that, because I told my husband I want to achieve more things. It didn't felt aligned with me anymore. And I took a chance again. I quit.
Wow.
I took a chance.
How many years ago was this?
That was like 2.5 years, almost 3 years ago.
Wow.
So it was like, okay, maybe I have to do something else. And I was ready to do something else, David. I was ready, like, if I have to go back to doing PR.
You would go back to, really? You said maybe you just were open to it.
I was open to it. I was like, or I don't know, like it just felt not here. I don't, like, I felt like the purpose was already fulfilled, but it's also, I needed to make it happen. Because if you stay, my thing is confronting. I don't like to confront.
Okay.
So I did all of this, like in my house, with my husband, and it took me like a month or so. So I was like, okay, I have to talk to my supervisors and tell them and it was also coming up the end of my contract. So it was like a sensitive time, and I took the shot. I was like, okay. And I had the support of my husband too. He was like, okay, I support you. He saw that I wasn't happy there anymore. He saw that I was struggling to go to work, and he knows this is my passion. So there was something off, and no plans, nothing. I actually told him, let's travel, let's do something.
You just wanted to have fun and just explore and see.
I want to leave everything behind. 3 months later, Telemundo called me.
Wow.
And I'm here. And I felt like, okay, they are giving me opportunities, are bringing me and also I came with a different consciousness. I have a family now. I don't only have dreams on my career level. I also have family dreams. I want to be a mom. Eventually, I'm not a mom yet. And me and my husband, we're super good, thank God. But like I have all other dreams in other aspects.
Aside from just work. Right.
But I think it's important. Like even, like I try to think like my relationship with my mom, with my sisters, with my friends. I try to think on all those areas, because Aleyda is all of that. Aleyda is the sister, is the daughter, is the wife, is the friend. And I try to have all those aspects, not only the Aleyda on-air camera, because this is my life. And when the lights turns off, that's it. But my life...
The lights are always on, right?
And it's, that's what I need to take, because no one else is going to do it for me. I have to be responsible with what I feel and do my connection, my spiritual work. Like I have to be responsible with myself. Right. Because it's this now. Now. This is what we have, right?
Completely.
So that's the feeling I have. It's crazy. And it's not easy. And like even say it, like I'm getting hot here. Because
it's natural, 100%.
It's not easy.
Going to your husband and talking about that relationship, what are some key things you think are important in relationships to have a healthy, happy relationship?
Communication, number one thing. My husband is a Gemini, I'm a Libra. And like sometimes we laugh about it because we can supposedly have good communication skills, and sometimes
it's the complete
opposite. I'm like, you're not on the, and plus I speak Spanish. I come from a Spanish background. My husband is also from the Hispanic, but he was born and raised in the United States.
He's more Americanized than...
He's more American. So when we're fighting or something, my Spanish, English, and we laugh about it, but we also have tough times. And it's, for me, communication is number one, and then respect and admiration. I think there has to be you have to admire your partner.
Totally.
And feel inspired by it. And I think that's something we can, in different stages, it's a different thing. Like the relationships, they we have different challenges, right?
Right.
So like last year, I remember my husband brought I brought, and he also brought like, oh, I feel like maybe I'm not helping your spiritual work. And I said, well, when I was ready, I said it because the first conversation, no, I wasn't a good student, yeah. But I told him, no, I am the one responsible to bring this to the house. And, it's very interesting. And so like I told you, I dreamed of having a family. And before my husband, I really had bad relationships, or let's say not the correct partner.
Sure.
And on that journey, I was kind of like, God, like, I want my soulmate. I want the person that's going to go through life with me. And then he appeared, and it was crazy because he appeared right when I was breaking up with the past partner, and I wasn't sure, all these things. But everything was so, I don't know, it's not terrible, like, I don't know how to describe it, because with my other partners, I always felt like, yeah, they may be, but there wasn't a connection. With him, everything flowed. We have problems, we fight,
even the best relationships.
But it's not like, oh my God, I'm in hell, like, because nowadays I hear people or friends of mine that it's so hard. Relationships are hard, but now with everything going on, I feel it's even more complicated to actually understand what is and what's not. No? And for me, in my experience, is when I met my husband, everything was flowing, and everything I felt I had. We had work to do, but it was like in a good soil. I don't know how to say it. It's like,
it's already a good foundation, and you were building on it.
Yeah, and we both wanted to put on the work, because that's very important. Like, we both were willing to compromise. We both were willing to go to the next level, and it's interesting because my husband is not like about a student, but somehow he hears me, and he hears, like last night I put a class, and we were going somewhere. I was like, I don't want to push it to him either, right? But it's okay to put it on the car. Yeah. So he listened.
At least he's still
right. So it's beautiful, because that's the respect.
Right.
That's the appreciation for the other, and it's interesting how the light works, because I really think like he sees how I am, and that brings him the opening.
Right.
When listening, I don't know, like.
Totally. He sees the experience that you're having. He's like, okay, it's obviously impacting in a positive way.
And it's incredible. I think that's nice, and it takes time, and it's okay. And,
totally.
And I'm willing to put the work for both of us.
And soon him as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In a different topic, people that want to be in television, whether it's a host of a show like you are, or other facets to it, what would be your advice to them as far as just like getting your foot in the door?
I think you have to get educated, because in TV, you need to know about everything. You never know what topic is going to come up. You need to know about food industry. You need to know about entertainment, arts, and politics, and, a little bit of everything. And now with social media, people that really want to be on this is social media is a good platform to expose and present yourself to the world and show what you're made of. But I think you need an education. Education it's important. Prepare yourself also how to speak properly. Like, I use my hands all the time, but that comes naturally from me, but that's something that some people may not have, that thing. And just practice on the camera. I remember the first time that I was on TV, I was so nervous, and I was like
so stiff
so stiff. And then with the practice, you feel more you.
Right.
And even with the years, I can say that I feel more and more comfortable to speak up my mind too. Like, it's not only about, it's also how comfortable you feel to say what you have in your heart. And
the mind as well, right?
Yes, it's in your mind. And it comes with time. So practice a lot, because it takes time, and prepare yourself. A lot of people ask me about this question, and I always say, prepare yourself, because you only can control that, right? Like, everything else, if it's for you, it's gonna come. But what you need to do is prepare yourself, be a good person, try to like, be happy with what you have. try to think more of what you can give than what you will get from it, right? So as much as you can, because it will come to you if it's meant to be.
Very powerful. It's a very powerful message. One last question we'll leave you with.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time and tell your 18, 19, 20-year-old self one message, what would you tell a younger Aleyda?
I really want to say, girl, keep doing, keep feeling whatever you're feeling. It's all going to be okay.
I love that. Thank you so much for being on the show. It was an absolute pleasure. And I'm sure you will have you on again soon. And thank you guys for tuning in.